Former teammates of Chris Cairns have given evidence against him in his groundbreaking libel trial in London.
New Zealand Cricket is aware the International Cricket Council is investigating a small number of former New Zealand cricketers.
The judge found the defence had mounted a sustained aggressive attack on the former black cap who stormed out of court.
He's everyone's hero back then, but it's dangerous when you meet heroes, I guess.
McCullum claimed Chris Cairns approached him about match fixing.
Chris Cairns should have gone down as one of the greatest cricketers of all time, and on paper, he kinda did. Over 3,000 test runs, over 200 test wickets, 4 World Cups, 1 ICC trophy, and for a while he held the world record for the most sixes in test cricket. He could change the game with the bat or the ball, and when he was on, it felt like he could bend cricket to his will. But the real story of Chris Cairns isn't just about runs and wickets. It's about a tragedy, self-destruction, a scandal, and a courtroom in London. And then right at the end, something even heavier. This is the rise, the fall, and the survival of Chris Cairns. Oh, and just a reminder, only 1% of you guys are subscribed, so please make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Appreciate it. Back to the video. Chris Cairns was born in Picton in 1970 into New Zealand cricket royalty. His dad, Lance Cairns, was already a cult hero. The guy with the bat with no shoulders who launched sixes with that strange short-armed swing. For Chris, cricket wasn't just a sport, it was his family's business. He made the New Zealand under-19s, then debuted for the Black Caps as a teenager in 1989. Raw, big, powerful, a genuine fast bowling all-rounder. For a small cricket nation, that was basically what we needed. But his life splits into 2 chapters, before 1993 and after 1993. In 1993, tragedy hit for Chris. His sister Louise was killed in a train crash near Rolleston. Years later, Cairns admitted he never dealt with it. He didn't grieve, he didn't slow down. He went straight back into cricket and pretended he was fine. But he wasn't. He rebelled, he drank heavily, he clashed with coach Glenn Turner, and he was suspended for staying out until 4 AM before a test match. But even through this, by the late 90s and early 2000s, Chris Cairns wasn't just another black cap, he was the heartbeat of New Zealand cricket. He was that guy, the match winner, the player who made you believe the game wasn't over for your country. But what really made him special? He averaged 44 and number 7 in test matches. He hit 87 test sixes, a world record at the time. He took 218 test wickets, he took 201 ODI wickets, and one of only 8 players in history to achieve 3,000 runs and 200 wickets. And a lot of you probably remember the 1999 to 2001 golden window, which was peak Cairns. In 1999, he went 7 for 27 versus the West Indies. He also scored a century in his 100th ODI for New Zealand, and then in 2000 he sent Shane Warne out of the Basin Reserve. But his crowning moment came in Nairobi. Chasing 265 against India, a total New Zealand had never chased in a major final, Cairns walked out with a bad knee and produced one of the greatest New Zealand innings, 102 not out. He hit the winning runs, he lifted New Zealand's first ICC trophy, and he was named Wisden Cricketer of the Year. For a while, he was arguably the best all-rounder in world cricket. But the shadow over his career was always injuries. He played 62 tests and missed more than 50 others. And journalists often said if Cairns played over 100 tests, his numbers would have been crazy. But his body simply wouldn't allow it. He retired from tests in 2004, then ODIs in 2006. His final match, a T20 against the West Indies, ended with a 9-ball duck, a sad ending for a great player. He was honoured with the ONZM, became a commentator, and in 2008 joined the Rebel Indian Cricket League as captain of the Shangari Lions. But this small footnote became one of the biggest chapters in his life.
Welcome to the highlights of this, the first ICL Championship.
The ICL was outside of ICC control, unsanctioned, messy and unregulated, and full of gambling interest. And in 2010, IPL boss Lalit Modi tweeted that Chris Cairns had been involved in match fixing during his time in the ICL. Cairns didn't hold back in response. He sued Modi for libel in the High Court in London. Then in 2012, standing with his hand on the Bible, he said, "I have never, ever cheated at cricket. He won the case, he won the damages, and he defended his name for the moment. But then the ICC continued digging. The anti-corruption unit found two key witnesses. Lou Vincent.
My name is Lou Vincent, and I am a cheat. I've abused my position as a professional sportsman on a number of occasions by choosing to accept money in fixing.
Vincent admitted to being a serial match fixer. He alleged that Cairns recruited him, told him "you work for me now," ordered his fixes and threatened him with a cricket bat and ran the whole operation. But Cairns denied everything. Then the bombshell came. Brendan McCullum. Brendan McCullum told investigators Cairns approached him in Kolkata in 2008, discussed fixing and money, and approached him again in Worcester. McCullum claims that he refused both times, but his mistake was waiting 3 years to report it. When his testimony leaked in 2014, the story exploded. In court, McCullum was grilled for inconsistencies between his statements. He later said he felt like he was on trial. McCullum felt like the Cairns camp publicly tried to destroy his credibility, and he said, "I want nothing to do with him. I'm glad he's not in jail, but I can't forgive him for the behaviour." The relationship was then destroyed. While the cricket world argued over who was telling the truth, Cairns' real life was falling apart. His legal bills were enormous, he had no cricket income, and his sponsors were gone. So he took on another job, water blasting bus shelters in Auckland for $17 an hour, a humble restart for a former world-class all-rounder, cleaning graffiti off glass to pay rent. In a 2014 New Zealand Herald article, his friend Dion Nash said that he's trying really hard, he's showing guts, it's hard watching his name get dragged through the mud. His wife Mel said, "We have bills to pay, we rent, and we struggle like everyone else now." And in 2015, the second case finally started. In October, Chris Cairns returned to England, but this time as a defendant. The case was heard at Southwark Crown Court, and it would last 9 grueling weeks. This was not a match-fixing trial, it was a perjury trial. The charges stemmed from the libel case Cairns had won 3 years earlier in 2012 against former IPL chairman Lalit Modi. In that case, Cairns had sworn under oath that he had never ever cheated. British prosecutors now alleged that the statement was a lie. Their case relied heavily on the testimonies of Lou Vincent, who claimed Cairns had recruited him for match fixing, and then Brendan McCullum, who told the court Cairns had spoken to him about match fixing during the Indian Cricket League era. Supporting evidence was given by other New Zealand cricketers including Daniel Vittori, Shane Bond and Chris Harris, primarily to provide context around team conversations and credibility. The defence attacked the foundations of the case. They argued that key witnesses had inconsistent statements, questionable motives, and histories that undermined their reliability. Most critically, the prosecution was unable to produce direct financial evidence. No payments, no bank records, and no paper trail linking Cairns to match-fixing profits. As the trial unfolded, even the judge raised concerns about reliability of the testimony and lack of hard proof. After hearing evidence from more than 30 witnesses, the jury retired on November 24, 2015. They deliberated for over 10 hours, and on November 30, 2015, the verdict was delivered. Not guilty. Chris Cairns walked out of Southwark Crown Court a free man, legally cleared of all charges. But outside the courtroom, the verdict did not bring closure. For some, it confirmed his innocence. For others, it only deepened the doubt. And even now, nearly a decade later, New Zealand cricket remains divided, not over whether the court decided, but over what they really believe happened. I'd say the majority of cricket fans in New Zealand sorta don't really know what happened. They have a clouded view of it, but they don't really know the truth. After the verdict in 2015, Chris Cairns didn't return to cricket, media, or public life. Instead, he disappeared. From 2016 onwards, he lived quietly in Nelson, working, staying out of the spotlight and trying to rebuild a normal life after years of courtroom, headlines and suspicion. There were no comeback interviews, no redemption tours, just a man attempting to move on from a decade that had taken almost everything from him. And in 2021, the most unfortunate thing happened. His body finally gave way. On August 21st, 2021, Chris Cairns collapsed suddenly. The cause was a tear from the main artery leaving his heart, and few people survive it, but he did, barely. What followed was almost unimaginable. 3 open heart surgeries, sepsis, organ failure, dialysis, and then a spinal stroke. Cairns survived, but the damage was permanent. He was paralyzed from the waist down, and if that wasn't enough, even more followed. Bowel cancer and more surgery, and the loss of independence. Eventually a stoma bag gave him something back, not comfort, but freedom for now. During this period, his marriage ended. For the first time in his life, Cairns sought counseling, working with a specialist who treats military veterans and people who were trained to endure pressure. From that process, he learned a simple motto: it's not what you endure, it's how you endure. There was no comeback plan, no grand statement, just survival, one day at a time. In a 2025 article, Chris Cairns was back at a cricket ground, Victory Square in Nelson. He wasn't running into bowl, he was rolling into bowl on his wheelchair. Cairns was designing machine ball cricket, a way to help everyone enjoy the game without pressure or exclusion. He said he wanted kids to love cricket the way he once did. He often speaks about players he knew who never made it this far, and even through these times he said he expresses how lucky he is to still be here. Chris Cairns is making significant progress in his recovery, sharing updates on his determined journey to walk again, using crutches, braces, and a cane, demonstrating resilience after life-threatening heart surgery and a cancer diagnosis that followed, showcasing inspirational steps towards regaining mobility. The Chris Cairns story is one full of the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. One of New Zealand's greatest cricketers, but on another hand, a multiple-time accused match fixer. Even through his extreme greatness and his mighty downfall, I don't think even his worst enemy would have wished what he's had to go through after his life in cricket. And to get through what he has and still be trying to make progress every day shows what a fighter he is. Chris Cairns was a champion, a rebel, a defendant, a patient, a husband, and a father. And now something more ordinary, but maybe more meaningful to him. Just a bloke that's still here, still fighting, and still enduring life. Thank you again everyone if you made it this far. I appreciate you watching my videos, and I'd appreciate you liking and subscribing down below. It really helps out the channel, so I appreciate you all, and I'll see you next video.